name is Tricia and I have the privilege of serving as the Chief Executive Officer of Vera House. It is an honor to join you today as we come together in unity, hope, and determination to confront the issue of domestic violence in our community. At Vera House, our mission is rooted in compassion and safety. Every day, our team works with individuals who are facing some of the most painful and dangerous moments of their lives. Our staff members carry tremendous passion for this work. They show up day after day with strength, empathy, and an unwavering commitment to ensuring that survivors have a place to turn, somewhere safe, somewhere supportive, somewhere that believes in their ability to reclaim their lives. Today is a reminder of why we do what we do. We are here because of stories, because behind every statistic is a person, a family, a future that deserves protection and healing. And today, we are especially grateful for Christy. Her courage in sharing her story is not only extraordinary, it's transformative. When a survivor steps forward and shares their truth, they create a ripple effect of hope. They help others recognize that healing is possible. They help someone who may be suffering in silence see a pathway out. And if Christy's story touches even one life, if it inspires even one person to seek help or believe in their own strength, that alone makes every moment worthwhile. Healing from violence is not a quick process. It requires bravery, vulnerability, and resilience. It demands support from loved ones and the community. It's the work of an entire lifetime. Christy, thank you for your unwavering advocacy, for your voice, and for your determination to shine a light on domestic violence. Through your strength, you are opening doors for others, and truly you are saving lives one day at a time. We are grateful as well for the partnerships and support to make events like today possible. Thank you to the Manlius Cinema, A.W. Wander, and all of our wonderful sponsors. Your belief in this mission fuels our work. We cannot do this alone. It requires the commitment of our entire community, united in the belief that every one person deserves to live free from violence. Together we can create a future where survivors are supported, where their stories are honored, and where their individual has the opportunity to live in safety and dignity. And so now it is my honor to introduce an extraordinary woman, the courageous Christy Martin.
Thank you very much. I'm shy. I don't need this microphone.
And I'll introduce myself. My name's Boxing Bob Newman. I'm the editor-in-chief for Fightnews.com, which not only covers boxing, but also other combat sports, MMA, bare knuckle, things of that. And it's a privilege. I kind of got the call to do this yesterday on like 24 hours notice. So with that, we'll go along with some questions. And we're going to keep it right now in the theme of domestic violence and how that was portrayed in the movie. And then, you know, afterwards, as we talked about earlier, we can do some other questions that just have to do with, you know, the movie, boxing, other things like that. So starting off, first of all, I'll jump right into the movie. Christy, how did you react either on set or even watching the movie afterwards to Ben Foster's portrayal of Jim? Like, was that like a oh God moment? You know, it had to be visceral.
So the whole story with Ben Foster, I was on set for pre-production, and we had this meeting. Everybody's at the round table, Sydney and the producers and all these people. And this dude is sitting there that's making my skin crawl. And when he left, I asked him, I said, who was that? I'm like, that's Ben Foster. He's playing Jim. I'm like, that explains why my skin was crawling. So, I'm honest, and I had no idea he was going to be Jim. I just knew that that guy was making me feel uncomfortable. The entire, I think it was 11 or 12 weeks of filming, I would not be on the same set with him. If he, you know, I would be in another room. I just couldn't be that close to him. There was one day, again, it was pre-production, they were training, and I dapped everybody on the way out of the gym, because they were in the boxing gym. And I just turned away and walked. I couldn't do it. I couldn't dap him. I couldn't. And again, we were filming one day, big arena, probably 30 doors I could have gone out. I picked the door that he's sitting on the other side of. And as soon as I saw him, I just immediately started cussing him out. And then I had to like, ooh, it's not Jim Martin. But I mean, that's how real he was. In the big picture of the Oscars and all those awards, people that didn't know Jim Martin, they're not gonna realize how incredible Ben Foster was, or is.
So it was difficult to see.
Oh my
Christy.
God. But now
Yeah.
we're buddies. He comes to all my fights in Nashville. He showed up in Toronto at the film festival with a pink suit on, Christy Martin Promotions, so it was pretty cool.
Oh, well, that's good, but understandable, how you had that reaction. So the trauma that you went through obviously is unimaginable. As a moviegoer, seeing it played out in the movie, it had a visceral effect on me. And I haven't always done this boxing gig. I was a respiratory therapist for 35 years, so I was in trauma rooms and I've seen people come in with gunshot wounds, stab wounds, limbs missing, burned, all sorts of things. And last night watching that movie, there were times where I was gripping, the armrest, because seeing the aftermath is one thing, and that was my job, but seeing it happen, and that was done so realistically in the movie, no, dramatic effects or whatever. And how did you cope with seeing those scenes, either, I don't know if you were on the scene as they were being filmed, but seeing it in the movie, and that's you up there, was it like reliving it all over again?
Yes, they purposely made sure I would not be on set when those scenes were filmed, for me and for the actors. They said it really would put a lot of extra pressure on them if I was there in person. Yeah, it's hard to see it, it's hard to relive it over and over, and what I tell people about that particular scene, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
But all the crap that was going on around that scene to make it to that scene, to make it to that point in my life, that's what I relive. When I'm sitting here, you guys are just seeing what's happening on the screen, and I'm thinking about all the things that led up to that.
Wow. So, yeah, like I said, that you mentioned last night to the crowd that, people asked, was everything 100% real? And you said, oh yeah, it was all real. So for when you're touring around, you told me how tired you're getting, and you've been to the grand the opening, the premiere, and then premieres in different towns and everything. Are you watching the movie every time, or you take a break?
No, I saw the movie in Toronto. The first time I saw the movie was actually at the film financer's house.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool, right? He has a theater in his house in LA. And then I saw it in Toronto, and I watched it in LA, and I actually sat through it in West Virginia because that's my people, and I needed to be there with them.
Right. I saw that. That's great. So I asked you this question last night afterwards, and I'm thinking there might have been a little bit of a misunderstanding. So I'll try to kind of rephrase it and see where it gets to. So to me, there was like three underlying kind of interwoven themes in this movie. Your like the birth of your boxing career and the climb, and then of course reaching the legacy that you reached, Hall of Fame, world champion, all that. Then there's the struggle with the sexual identity, and dealing with it starting from your home life and then onward, and then marrying Jim, even though that's not something you wanted to do, and then of course the domestic violence. So there's kind of like three interwoven themes. Do you feel like they each kind of have equal weight in the movie, or that one theme kind of rises above the other in terms of attention or intent to get the message out?
I think domestic violence awareness and awareness of sexuality are like really right there, 1A.
Yeah.
Drug addiction kind of falls somewhere, but I tell everybody I'm the ultimate underdog. From a town of 700 people in southern West Virginia, my dad truly is a coal miner, and I feel like I made it to the top of the boxing world for a minute. I had a lot of fun, saw a lot of the world on somebody else's dime, Don King. If you believe it, you can achieve it.
Yeah.
And for some crazy reason, I believed it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you obviously spent, how many years from time you met Jim, to go to the gym there the first time, until the end, until the day he did those unspeakable acts? How many years were you together, or did you know each other?
It was about 20 years.
Wow. So in that time, did things ever come out where you did you ever find out if he had like a history of this with other people, other women, other like employees, that type of behavior, that controlling and that behavior? Any background? Did you ever learn any of that about him?
I really didn't know much about his history, but what I saw over and over again was how he treated people in our lives, and that he was definitely a narcissist, a control freak, and he really was a dirty person. He was a negative person and not a kind person. And I say, kindness is free, so let's do it all we can.
Yeah, and people don't understand, you see it all the time when you read about or see on television cases of abuse or even cases that wind up in murder, where the easy question is always, why didn't she run? Why didn't she get away? And the prevailing answer is always you don't know until you're in it how to react. That's an easier question to ask than by those who've never been in it. What do you comment on that?
Absolutely. Of course, that's the first question that most everybody asks. Well, why didn't you just leave? Well, if it were just that easy, we would probably all leave, but it's not that easy. My personal relationship, my private or my business relationship with Jim and him being my trainer, manager, basically controlling my boxing career, and then my private life, they were just so intertwined that I didn't really give up boxing. I love boxing, and I felt like I really married boxing instead of Jim Martin. And I tried during that 20 years time. I even presented a contract to him once that, look, I'll pay all this stuff, just leave, just let me go. And he would remind me, if you leave me, I will kill you. And at the beginning, I thought it was a joke. Like when I was 22, 23 years old, it's a joke. Trying to laugh it off. Then as time went on, probably around year 10, you start thinking about, he might be telling the truth. But by the end, that when I left, I knew he was going to kill me. But I also know me, and I couldn't run for the rest of my life because I'm an arrogant ass. So he's going to either have to go, I'm going to go face him, and he's either going to kill me or I'm going to live through this. And thank God, by God's grace, I lived through it. I made a deal with God from the hospital bed after being shot and stabbed that if he'll let me live, I will help one person before I leave this earth, not go through the same thing I went through. And then I'm like, I'm not going to help one person, I'm going to help one person every day. That's what I want to do, is help one person every day not go through what I did.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into my next question. So, growing up, like starting with your home life, obviously we all have different relationships throughout our life, and sometimes they kind of mimic each other as you go through from one relationship to the next. So, like starting with your mom, as it was portrayed in the movie, not a supportive relationship, kind of a controlling relationship, and then, I think in real life, Sherry, and then with Jim, I'm assuming after all this, hopefully you had like some therapy that helped you get through things. Did you delve into that kind of phenomena about anything with your personality that had you going from like one person to the next, and they were all very similar?
Well, you start to look at it, you say there's one common denominator here, and that's me. So why am I going through these relationships? But as far as first, my mother, my relationship with my mother was very complicated. This is the mother that when I was in high school, she would put my jeans in the dryer so they would get heated up before I went out in the winter. But this is also the same mother that couldn't accept that I was gay. And if I'm on TV, she's telling everybody. But if I'm, marrying Lisa, she wasn't too happy about it. She was very unhappy when everything was announced that Jim Martin shot me, and people were saying because I had left him for Sherry Lusk. That really wasn't the case, but my mother was very unhappy about that. And this is one of the things in the movie I want parents to take away from. Would you rather your child be gay, or would you rather be laying on the bedroom floor bleeding out after being shot and stabbed? I hope these parents are saying, I'd rather my child be gay. But you know what? There's some parents that probably would say they'd rather be dead. And that's how I felt my own mother thought. So that's a tough one. And then Sherry Lusk was, she was a female version of Jim Martin. We had relationship early on in high school, and then it wasn't a relationship. She was just, I needed somebody to hear me, because I knew he was gonna kill me. I wanted to tell somebody my story and tell somebody what was going on, and she was the person that I felt like I could tell. That's how she came back into the picture.
Yeah. Well, I remember meeting her at some conventions and things, and I just kind of thought,
Yeah.
kept my opinions to myself, but, you know, if you can read people and kind of see a dynamic, it's easier when you're not in it, you know, and you're outside.
And this is somebody I had known since I was 12 years old, and you don't think that person's gonna, you think they care about you. You don't realize that they just care about maybe the attention that's coming to you.
Right, right. So you're going around the country now, you're talking, meeting with groups like this, you know, working with victims. Have you ever, I would assume it's mostly female victims of violence from men or whatever, do you ever cross paths with, you know, child victims of abuse or even, and there are, believe this or not, male victims of abuse from females, whether it's their spouses, and physical violence versus emotional abuse or mental abuse?
And so that's what I've always said, that if I would have had bruises, I could have gone to my dad, but I didn't, not often. So I think that's the big thing. People have to understand that domestic violence comes in all shapes. It's not just the bruises, it's not just physical, it's financial, it's stalking, it's isolation, it's emotional, financial. I mean, it's just, there's a big long list of different domestic violence. And it's hard for somebody that's never been in any of those situations to understand your situation. And sometimes it's hard to explain it. And also, like I was so far down that rabbit hole, I didn't know what was down there until I was down there. And I'm like, oh shit, how do I get out? And then you don't know. You don't know, who do I trust? Who can help me? Or what do I do? And especially again with my situation being so intertwined with business and personal, I didn't see a way out.
Now, after his sentencing, and we saw your impact statement portrayed in the movie, and I believe the documentary that came out a few years ago, we saw that. I remember how emotionally that hit me when you made that statement to him, and with the F-bombs and everything. But I think that was necessary to really paint it how you actually felt and the impact that it had on you. Do you feel like the chapter closed with his sentencing, or did the final chapter close? That we're coming up on the year anniversary of his death, so he passed last November, the 26th. Did that really finally close it all? Was there still like a little bit open while he was alive but in prison?
I think there's still a little bit open today, because he would tell me even then that if I don't kill you, I have people that will kill you. So even as unrealistic as that may sound to everybody, there's still that little 1% in my brain that thinks, wow, you know, maybe his grandson, maybe his friend, maybe somebody out there that just wants to be a champion for Jim Martin would try to do something to me. I think it came closer when he died to being closed. I did move back to Apopka, Florida, and I, you know, probably wouldn't have done that before his death. But once he died, I felt like I could go back there. You know, could go back where it all happened.
Yeah. Now, boxing fans or people that just know you now and see the posters, they know your name is Christy Martin. You've kind of since rebranded as Christy Salters Martin, you're using your maiden name. Is that like kind of a catch-22 because people got to know you in the ring and when you rose to stardom, you know, on the Mike Tyson undercards and cover Sports Illustrated and everything, Christy Martin. And does that kind of sit weird with you, like having that attachment to that name of the guy that you trusted and then tried to kill you?
It's even worse because he would often tell me that you'll always be Christy Martin no matter what. And some of it was right, you know. But I am legally back to Christy Salters, and that's who I am. I am Christy Salters. I am the shy person that is really a caring person that wants to help as many people as possible. Christy Martin was an arrogant ass most of the time, but happy to be back. I'm happy to be back to the person I was. He was always prodding me to, say crappy things to people, or telling me what to say to this person, or what not to say, or who to talk to. It was really a control. Everything from what I wore to what I ate. He made me weigh 3 times a day.
So, in closing, I just wanted to add a little humorous part. There's a touch of boxing, a touch of domestic violence in here. So often I'll run across your photo that you've posted of you and your wife, former opponent, Lisa Holloline, and she's nailing you in your head, snapping back over the rope, and I think, and you can correct me, I think it says something like, "This is what you get in my house when you talk back to your wife," or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a little bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? Like, let's not have violence, but now but this is before they were spouses, so. And she's nailing you good, but it's kind of hilarious for those in the know that it was when she was your boxing opponent, and I'm sure there's none of that going on in the house now.
No. and that, you know what, I never even thought about it, like, that might not be so smart for me to post that, because I see it, it's funny to me, she hates it, but I'm like, yeah, this is what happens when you don't agree, but, yeah, and the anniversary to that fight is actually Monday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how many years?
It was in '01,
Okay.
so 24 years.
24 years, wow. And how many years married?
How many, Lisa?
8 years, November 25th.
All right, congratulations. Oh, well, that's coming up too.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations. One day and however many years after your fight?
Yeah, not far. No.
Wow.
And then, actually, we got married 2 days after I was shot and stabbed, so that anniversary's coming up as well,
Wow.
November 23rd.
Wow, okay. Well, Christy, thank you. Do we have any questions from the assembled crew here?
So, I work with Vera House, and we're incredibly thankful for everything that you're doing for us and spreading the message and bringing that awareness. There's going to be women watching this that are currently in the situation that you were in. What would you share with them? What insight, as somebody who's now on the other side, what was that moment for you that you said, I can't anymore, and this is it? If you can maybe give them some insight, because they're probably struggling to recognize that moment.
That moment for me was, I walked in my house and I looked in the mirror and said, "You look like a drug addict." And I said, "No, you don't look like a drug addict, you are a drug addict." And that's not who I am. It's not who I was, that's just, and I decided I'm gonna get clean, I'm gonna leave him, I'm gonna either live or die through what he's gonna do. Obviously, that is not what I wanna tell other people that are in the situation. I want them to call for help, call Vera House, call the national hotline, someone reach out, and don't stay one day longer, because tomorrow might be that day that the switch flips and they either harm you in some way or take your life, and it's not worth it. There's so many people out there that not only want to help you, but they can help you, and just you can't hesitate to reach out. And that's the hardest thing, the trust. But you have to look. It's a bad situation where you are. You have to trust someone.
Anyone else? Questions? Special question.
Would you say that this has been the happiest 8 years of your life?
Yes, baby.
Good answer.
Cousin?
So what I'm interested in, because we knew so much, but I think the drug addiction was an added piece that was even shocking. How did you said you looked in the mirror and you're like, I gotta get clean here. How did you go about that? Was it simultaneously you were planning to leave gym, or did you say, I'm gonna get clean first and then you got on your next journey?
So I have been that person my entire life, and especially through my boxing career, that was so much against drugs. I'm just not gonna down that path. I don't believe it. I don't wanna do it. That's not who I am. But because I was so unhappy in that relationship, he came home one day, dropped a baggie of Coke on my table, and it sat there for a couple of days, and then finally I was like, let me just snore a line, let me just get started. And one day, one line led to 2 lines and 3, and one day led to 2 days, and then it was every day, every week. And so after about 3 years of that, I saw myself and said, no, we gotta change this. Well, people often say to me, like, there's no way you can just quit cold turkey like that. I'm like, yeah, because I left on, I think it was a Friday, and then he shot me on Tuesday. So I was done with him. I didn't need the drug. I was happy. I didn't have to have something to what I thought made me happy or help me find happiness.
Hi, Christy, I'm gonna apologize in advance if this is a difficult question for you to answer, but when I saw in the movie your mother's response about you sound crazy, how did you ever get past that?
I think it's no matter how old we are, we always want our mother's love and attention, and we want to be there, number one. I wasn't that for my mother, and I struggled even to her final days to try to make it right or try to find some, I don't know, happiness, so we could be on the same page. And we really never got there. We got as close as she could, but it was never really close enough for me. So I don't think I could ever forgive her. Maybe I'll forgive her, but I'll never forget.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Again.
Mothers and daughters' relationships are complicated, generally speaking. And it seems, I mean, I know, but it also seems like yours was. I'm certain with all that happened, there's still a lot of love and there's still a lot of great memories you have with your mother. Would you agree?
Yes, but it was hard as I got older. She would be happy when I would be on TV, but then not so happy when I called her and told her I'm marrying Lisa Hollowine. So, I wanted her to be happy no matter what I was doing. I wanted her to be happy that I was alive.
Any other questions?
Angela.
Hey Christy, you speak about, what women should do if they're in that situation and how they should get out. What advice do you have for young girls that aren't even in that situation yet? However, they are meeting young boys for the first time, or women for that matter, or boys meeting them. What are the red flags that they should be looking for before even entering relationships like that? To be aware and say, that behaviour may not be normal, I shouldn't explore that, so we can even stop it before you're even in that situation.
I think the two things will be, if someone threatens you, I'm gonna do this to you, or I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna hurt you, that's obviously, it's not a joke. Even if they're making that threat, there has to be something in their mind that maybe they think they can or will. The minute that person that you're interested in starts to isolate you, want you to not go out and hang out with friends, especially young people, you have to have those relationships. And yeah, those are to me the two biggest signs. Once they start Xing out friends, and then if they make any threats.
So Christy, in the movie, they portrayed a part, and as you and I know, the weekend before you were doing a TV broadcast, and there were some people that talked to you on the phone and said, this is dangerous. And it was portrayed in the movie with I believe that's probably real life, a call that you made to Sherry. You were I believe that you were totally aware of the danger that you were going into. But consciously or subconsciously, what made you walk through the door in that house in Apopka and essentially confront him with your presence?
It's who I am. I mean, that was my house, it was my gym, it was my life, and I wanted to take it back, or, so, you know, he would kill me. It was one way or the other, and I had come to, I was okay with whatever happened, halfway through the attack. As he's beating my head into the dresser, that's when I told him, motherfucker, you cannot kill me. And I meant it, just like the sun's gonna come up tomorrow.
It's a parallel to the boxing world, as you know. That ride home was probably similar to many of the ring walks that you had, especially the one with Layla Ali, who was 5'10", 180 pound, and you were 5'4" and 140 pounds. Is that what that felt like when you were going home, a ring walk to the ultimate fight that you were gonna have?
No, as much as I would like to say that I could compare how I felt that day to the boxing ring, there's no comparison to how I felt that day. This is your life. Boxing's a game. And another time that was really significant was when they called me and told me they had a verdict. I always thought it was just gonna feel like a decision, a fight decision. But when they called and told me that they had the verdict, I almost hit the ground. I was so scared, and because then for the first time I started thinking about, what if those people didn't believe me? And what if he's let go because I knew he would kill me?
The extent of the wounds that you had from that scene was difficult to watch. If that was me, I would have died on the floor. How did you get up off the floor after those kind of injuries, including a gunshot that went through your body, by your heart, and into your back? How did you get up and get out of that house? How did that happen?
Because God has a plan for me. Bigger than anything that Jim Martin could do against me, God has a bigger plan. And that I will be here to help other people. And that's what we're doing.
One more for me. What would you say to someone, male or female, who's in a domestic violence situation, who says, I still love him, and I'm not ready to leave?
Those are the hardest people that we're trying to reach. I mean, you just have, that's the kind of person that you want to ask, how are you staying there? I have a friend that I feel like is in a domestic violence situation. I don't know if she knows it, because he's not beating her up physically, but he's beating her up emotionally and mentally, and very negative to her all the time. But I don't know how you help somebody that they don't know they need help, or they won't accept that this is not going to end nice. It's not going to end pretty. That's going to be a question for Tricia, Vera House.
Even people who have declined help through Vera House, unfortunately. I know plenty of people like that. And it's hard for me to live with that, because I'm a helper.
It's hard, especially when you see somebody that you care about and you know that they're not getting treated right. You try to say as much as you can without, you can't drag them away. Do as much as you want to.
Thank you.
Trish, would you care to comment on that, or?
Well, sure. You know, I can think of so many situations that we've had and seen. I'm a fix-it personality, you know, so to me, I get frustrated sometimes when there maybe now isn't the right time for them. They come in, we try to help, and then they go back. We had a case just a couple weeks ago, and she had nothing. She left with nothing. No car, no purse, no phone. So we kick it in high gear. We get her all the things, right? We didn't get her car, we got her all the things. And she had 2 kids, beautiful kids. And they complained so bad to her that, they wanna go back to the fish, they wanna go back to the hamster, they wanna, cause little kids, they don't understand. And she was ready to leave. But she went back. And it's really, really hard for the team because they get so, they lock into gear and they get going, right? They're ready to solve world peace. And so they keep trying to reach out and she's not answering. And then you lay awake at night because you wonder, is today gonna be the day? Like, and this is why I'm awake half the time, he'll say to you, because our mission says we're gonna end it. And it keeps me up at night. But it's also the fire that burns in my soul to drive into work every day, because I think a lot of people probably question my sanity. But yet, we gotta make a difference, and we have to keep going, and that's why it's so amazing what she's doing to bring awareness, because there are so many people that don't even know what it is. They're sitting in the thick of it, and they don't even know. So, we talk all the time as a team, they're probably sick of listening to me, that we gotta think differently about how we're delivering our service too, and we have to do more, because we're only scratching the surface. We have a shelter, 2 shelters, we bring them in and they go, we have to start doing more if we're gonna bring them into this. And bring awareness, education, we have a prevention education team. We should have about 100 people in that prevention education team to educate people about what it is. Sorry, I'm rambling. We had a group from SU that came and did a tour. And I just said to them, think about as you're through your journey in college, right? Maybe you're part of a sorority or fraternity, and maybe you think it's funny that you're out drinking and you put a date rape drug in someone's drink, and maybe you wake up the next day and you think, oh, maybe not the best decision. Think about that girl. That maybe she's now 35 and you're down working on Wall Street. And she's in Vera House shelter because she has such low esteem, self-esteem, that she ends up in a bad situation. It's life altering. So, sorry, thanks.
And I think it's important that people realize that women usually leave about 7 times, right, before they actually ever leave. And then with that, within the first 14 days of leaving, that's when most of the homicides happen in domestic violence relationships. So it's scary to leave. And then try to leave over and over. It's not easy. And we do need support, and we need a good team like Vera House to give help and strength and lend courage. And know that they believe in you. They meaning survivors and victims.
So at Vera House, with the shelters that you have, how do you, like get the furniture and all that? Do you take donations for stuff like that?
Yes.
Clothes
Sure.
and other things?
We do. And we're grant funded. However, we do need donations. Can't do it just on grants alone. And we're regulated by the state, right? So, we do take donations. And also for people who are moving into safe housing, when we get them on their feet, we've had such success stories where people have come, we've gotten them their driver's license, we've helped them get a job, they wrote their resume, we get them on their feet and they get out into housing, but they have nothing. So the staff, Rebecca will laugh because I want the shelter to be very cozy, and so I keep buying things to the point where he's like, we gotta knock it off. Because I want it to be cute and welcoming, and for people to feel like there's hope. And then I come back the next week and I'm like, well, where are the curtains? And they're like, well, little Susie was moving out and she didn't have anything, so I took the curtains down and gave them to her. So it's about, because if they get out and they don't have stuff, that's a whole other part of it too, that sometimes they end up going back because they're like, I can't do it on my own. So we need to equip them with the stuff so that they get out there, they can see that they can do it.
And can you produce a list of like what's needed, like weekly, monthly, or whatever that
Yeah, we can,
you
and
can post and?
We have an Amazon wish list, and anyone can always call if they'd like to make a donation of items, and we would arrange for, pickup, drop off, anything like that. But we do have an Amazon wish list on our website, actually.
Right, because I know people they'll have extra clothes, they'll take them to Salvation Army or whatever, and friends of mine have tried to give them to nursing homes, they won't take them unless they're new. And sometimes it's whole wardrobes, and people have to go get jobs, and they have no clothes to go to a job interview and stuff like that, and donations would be more helpful to go to Vera House than.
We've been partnering, we're gonna be partnering with, Women's Opportunity Center, and they're based out of Italy, and so they have an office here in Syracuse, and so we just met with Jan the other day, and we're gonna work on a boutique, right? Because I think it's empowering to women to be able to go to a boutique to get some clothes versus not.
A bag.
Yeah. So, so it's, so we're gonna be working on that, so yes, donations. And we'll get a list out.
Does Vera House have initiatives in place where they meet with local schools or colleges where they go and speak to the young?
Yes, we have, in our prevention education department, they go out to ASU, they go to Lemoyne. It's actually, the need is growing, we're getting a lot of calls, that's what I'm saying, we've gotta find more funding and hire more people in our prevention education. Because that's where the rubber starts to hit the road, right? You gotta have that in place so that we can catch people early on, let them understand what it is and what it isn't.
So apparently I lied when I said I had one last thing, but, I just want you to know that not only are you an inspiration to women who aren't necessarily in a domestic violence situation, but to those of us who are or aren't. And I just want to let you know that when I meet with someone who's in a domestic violence situation, I always refer them to look up your story. And my hope is that will help them get to that point.
Thank you, and I hope that even with the movie, that we're kind of showing people a path, that there's a way out.
Anyone else?
Do you think your hard-headedness actually helped you survive do you think your hard-headedness actually helped you survive the getting up off the floor? Because you are exceptionally hard-headed.
Okay, everybody, she's being funny, so I'm gonna be funny back.
No, I'm serious.
No, God wanted me to be here so I could cause you havoc for the next.
That's for it.
I came from the Don King School of Media, so we're all about the smack talk. You're gonna lose, baby.
Let me be more serious. The same part of you that became a champion, I think even you would tell people not to take the same path you took.
Absolutely.
But I think your strong-willedness and your strength of self that you do have did help you get them off.
So it's a little bit like this. I had to do the crazy way that I got out so I could be here today to try to help somebody else. Because without me trying to do it that way, I wouldn't be here today. To share my story and to talk about domestic violence awareness. It's kind of like in the 90s when we fought, not each other, but when we were fighting, we were opening up doors so that these women can fight for millions of dollars today. So it's a little bit that we did that, then we got up off the floor, and it's all about God has a plan. That's it. I'm just that coal miner's daughter from a little town in southern West Virginia.
Love it.
There are some boxers today out there who claim to be the greatest of all time. Are you, in fact, the greatest female fighter and maybe the greatest fighter of all time?
I'm definitely not the greatest fighter of all time. But there ain't no woman out there that's gonna beat me.
I'm talking about.
I'm not in my weight class. Layla beat me, but she was way bigger.
And younger.
All right, are there any more questions?
Champ, any questions?
Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Christy.
I think, you dispensed some information that hopefully is, you know, the saying, if you can just help one person, it makes it worth it, but I think you'll, help a lot of people, and hopefully they'll take the advice, so, thanks, Champ.
Thank you.
Amen.
All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Can we get a picture with Vera House
There you
people?
go.
Christy?
Come on.
So do you want to get all up on stage, people like on?
No, this will do.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're still